Hello everyone and welcome to a surprise video on the next stop of the American road trip, the Indianapolis Trinity Cup. This to me really came out of nowhere and I actually only realized it a couple of hours ago it was today, when I saw people pulling the red Hennessey Venom F5 concept from the crates. Anyways, in this video today I will be covering the event, which I'm actually quite pleased about, and I prefer it over the Pittsburgh Trinity, which was 2 weeks ago. At the end of the video, I'll also include a max tune for the red F5, which is potentially the fastest gold star car in game, and a beast on stage 5, running sub 8 seconds. So let's get into it. So out of nowhere this event popped up today on the map as the next part of the road trip. I don't mind it, though coming straight after the Detroit Motor City event, I would have highly appreciated a break in here of at least a week. We are getting suffocated here. Imagine being a starting player, having to spend those gold keys and cash season after season. It's impossible to keep up. Luckily, as a veteran player, I already had all the lock-ins on my main account completely covered. If I was a starting player, that would be more difficult. Now, some people are barely managing to keep their head above water, having to upgrade car after car after car. So please let the Tulsa Flash event, which will be the next part, be a bit further in the future. Anyways, the event is a Trinity Cup, which means 3 lock-ins. There are a total of 60 races without hard speed traps, but with quite doable one-on-one races. The total rewards come down to 2,670,000 cash, which is good, 525 gold coins, 1,400 bronze, 75 silver and 20 gold keys, which is also very nice, 12 uncommon, 14 rare and 13 epic Hennessey fusion parts, 4 stage 6 parts, 1 for each and a random one on the final relay race, and for the elite customs, 500 blue elite parts, 250 red and 10 yellow. Why y'all don't give us greens? We need those! Overall, I'm quite satisfied with the rewards here, but if you don't own any of the 3 cars, you might need to spend up to 210 gold keys, with only 20 rewarded back. And having so many back-to-back events, it's draining many players their stashes, kind of cutting in Natural Motion's player-based activity and revenue, as people on 60 keys might buy the last 10 for loyalty, but at 0, they just won't even bother to pull one. I think you got the message by now. All the cars are pullable from the crates on a drop rate, and I highly suggest to go for the Venom F5 because it's a beast. As for parts crates, these are open without having to lock in the cars, which is quite nice, and these are for bronze keys for all the cars, with an extra cascade system crate for the F5, which is also available for bronze keys. Again, my advice here is to stick to the utmost left one. As far as fusion parts, you'll be getting plenty if you claim your daily free crate and if you buy some extra crates looking for that stage 6 part. As for difficulty, one car can finish it on stage 5, one can do it with 1 stage 6 part minimum, and the other with 2. I will show you guys the tunes and the hardest races, and I started from a stage 5 perspective, like usual, to give my view on how doable it is. The majority of the event up until race 57 can be completed without even having a single stage 6 part installed. The first lock-in to start off with is for the Hennessey Exorcism, a former milestone car way back in 2018 if I recall correctly, and it had an event at some point, which means that some people might already have the car when they pulled it back then, somewhere in their garages collecting dust. The Exorcist, being the one supposed to get rid of the Dodge Demon, is a pretty fast car, with a record of a 7.915. For its stage 6 race early on race 22, you could easily beat it on stage 4, as you have to be faster than a 14.440. For the hardest race, however, I had to install 2 stage 6 parts, as a stage 5 time of a 9.850 was not enough. I decided to not take the 2 most powerful ones, but a major one and an average stage 6 part, so I chose for the body and the engine, and I still had some margin. Being a rather older car, some of you might already own some stage 6 parts, so I do not expect this to be a breakpoint for many. Tune and hardest race. The second lock-in then is for the Hennessey Venom GT Spider and its variants, being the Evo Cup Prize, the final edition, or if you own it, the top 10 version, which is the world's fastest edition. The coupe is sadly not an option here, to why I have no idea, as they are essentially the same car and I think roughly the same ownership percentage, because despite being a 5-star car, If I recall correctly, this has been purchasable for gold at some point. This was the third ever milestone car and the only one I never received despite hitting the milestone number. Luckily I did win the milestone spec at some point in the past to complete the collection. For the stage 6 race on race number 32, the time was again not too crazy to beat. On stage 5 I was able to run a 9.25 to 9.3, which was again not enough for the final race. Here I decided to run just with Buddy, which is a super important stage 6 part for this car, and it was enough to beat the final time. If you don't own the Buddy stage 6 part, no worries. 2 others should do the job, unless you have like the 2 worst ones which have a minimal impact, then you might need a third one. Tune and hardest race. The last lock-in is the one which is the most interesting to me, the Hennessey Venom F5 concept, and here you can either use the paid yellow version from a past flash event or the new gold star version which you can pull from the drop rate on the gold crates, and I highly suggest you go for this one. Trying to see this from a free-to-play player's perspective, I chose to go with the red version, which is freely obtainable if you have the keys. I'll go straight to the point. This car is a stage 5 beast running a low 7.8. without a single stage 6 part installed. And even better, MakDouble is one of the fastest cars in the game, coming close to the purple star version, with rumors of it being able to hit a 6.93, putting it in the top 5. My best attempts left me on a 6.94, a little bit shy of the Cobra Jet, but I'm pretty sure it can beat it, but you'll see that later. For the stage 6 race on race 39, you have to beat a time of a 10.586, which is more challenging than the others, but still super okay to beat. The hardest race was on the second to last race, and I also beat it running stage 5. Tune and race. If you came to the final race, well, the relay race is a piece of cake, and it rewarded me a second stage 6 part for the F5, but this could be completely random, I'm not sure. With Hennessey F5 being the most interesting car of the bunch, since it's new and it's quite decent in performance, I will be showing the MakDouble tune and the best run. It's super easy to drive, super consistent, and it's pretty fast. It's a lot better compared to the Cobra Jet, because the times are more reliable. So what is next? Well, next up is another dual stop, being Tulsa and Oklahoma, where we will have a Duality Flash Event Style Cup and another showdown. The Duality Cup will consist of the SSC Tuatara in the first lock-in, and in the second lock-in, the Hennessey F5 concept, and that's why it's important to have it. Though this will be the first forced paid wall event, since the SSC versions, both are Purple Star, paid cars, which will come for sale once we arrive at the next stop. Alongside that, there will be also a showdown, which will also bring a leaderboard and a milestone prize, I suspect, being the Dutch Boys Camaros, which are currently not in the game anymore since they have been removed in the last update, meaning an update will be required when we arrive at the stop. For this showdown, it's basically a 300 mph car showdown, with possible cars being the Tuatara, the F5 concept and the Chiron 300+, all cars being quite close to one another. Not sure if they'll count in the Jesco or not, because it's not the absolute version and more of a track-based car. And that's that. All covered for today. It's a super last minute event catching many off guard. The only remark I have is that a break would be super useful and appreciated because we are running through so many events, people just can't keep on participating in it anymore. With the Bugatti event we had at least 1 week in between, now with the Pittsburgh Trinity event, the Detroit event and the Indianapolis coming back to back each week, that's too much, man. Chill with it. And I second again, Detroit event being 5 lock-in cars should have been 2 weeks, not just 1 week in terms of length. Otherwise, this event is quite good, crates are fair, difficulty is fair, although for newer players Hennessey fusion pots are not so common, so I'm quite curious to see how that will play out. Another thank you to the Reddit user WKPQ for setting up the list, which sped up the recording process so much. If you enjoyed the video, do not hesitate to leave a like, subscribe for more content like this. My name is Mille, see you around and keep racing.